why are they hiding the Nashville shooters manifesto?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I don't know much about this, so
No, no,
I'm
Right.
looking forward to being educated.
Yes.
Right, okay, well before we begin, go and support us at lotus.com. So we got demonetized on YouTube for speaking the truth. And so to keep the lights on, we need you to go and sign up and pay £5 a month and watch the amazing epic content we have, which is this. We snuck into the British Museum with a camera. You're not allowed really, but we did.
Right.
And we went around all the Assyrian stuff, and the Assyrians were mental. Absolutely mental. They had a very efficient policy, though. They used to pay their soldiers by the head. And so they ended up.
Did they?
Oh yeah, all of the reliefs. You can see the piles of heads, and then the eunuch administrators with their things handing over money, and then the soldiers handing over heads. And it's just like, but the thing is, it's not like they just did this and that was it. They made a big relief about it. So thousands of years later, everyone can know about it. And it's like these people were insane. But these were this was the empire that ruled the Middle East for about 1,000 years.
Right. Well, it would, wouldn't it?
It would. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
And we make light of it, but my God, these people were insane.
Yeah.
It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it was a lot of work to go down there, and we nearly got kicked out 3 times recording.
Right.
Did you go with secret cameras or?
No, we went with the big camera.
Really?
Yeah, we just blagged it.
Oh, my God.
But we shouldn't have done. But, it was just for a blog, right?
Yeah,
But anyway, I mean, we pay for the British Museum.
Yeah, we
Yes,
do.
we do,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm like, no, I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
No, you're absolutely right. I think absolutely.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so I'm not having any of this. Anyway, so go and support us, because that honestly, that's one of my favorite pieces of
I'd like
content.
to see that.
Oh,
actually.
well, I'll watch that. Yeah.
It's really good. I'll give you a free account if you want to watch it.
Okay, brilliant.
Anyway, so let's talk about the Nashville shooting in
I
2023.
know very little about it.
Yeah.
I only have to know about it because of politics, really. But on 27th of March, as Wikipedia tells us, a mass shooting occurred at the Covenant School, a Presbyterian church in America, an elementary school in the Green Hills neighborhood of Nashville, Tennessee. Aidan Hale, who was a trans female to male, so born Audrey Hale, was a former student of the school. Went in there with guns, killed 3 9-year-old children and 3 adults before being shot by 2 police officers.
Right.
Obviously, it's a hideous tragedy.
Yeah.
Right. No one is in favour of it, and anyone on either side of this issue. What I want to make clear is I'm not saying, because every time something like this happens, and mass shootings, I think, really are an American pathology. Right? This is a facet of American society, because it doesn't happen in Canada. Canada has a lot of guns. We actually have millions of guns in this country. Actually, but Americans seem to think that we don't have access to any guns. Like, no, we actually do. They're just owned by farmers to shoot foxes. Most of the time, and so but you don't get mass shootings in anywhere else other than America, really. It's a very unusual thing. But in America, they have lots of them every year. And I think this is a kind of American pathology where it seems to be the person railing against society itself, right? When you go to a shopping supermarket or a mall or whatever, when you go to a place where there are lots of strangers you don't know, why would you shoot people you don't know? Why wouldn't you shoot the people who'd wronged you? You go to their house and shoot the people who wronged you. If I was, ever inclined, I'd be thinking of named individuals. And so and this is just my theory, but I can only assume that when you're attacking just a random milieu of people, you're attacking what you perceive to be the broader society itself. For something, this civilization failed me. And I want to lash out.
I see
hurt, But I mean, in this particular case, because she went to the school, it might not be that, right?
Yeah.
So it might be something else.
Yes.
And actually, that seems to be the case in this particular case, because in most mass shootings, they seem to be fairly spontaneous, if that's the right word. Someone's very angry that day, they go and pick up a gun, and then they just go on a shooting spree, and then they get shot, right, as they should be. But this person, Aidan Hale, had a manifesto, and that speaks to an ideological commitment.
Yes.
And so has targeted a Christian school on purpose, because of course this person was a very left-wing person.
Right.
They themselves were transgender, involved in social media and left-wing circles, and so they had ideological commitments, and that's clearly what is in the manifesto, although we don't know because they haven't released it. But having been in this sphere of politics for a long time, I bet I could write the manifesto myself.
Where is the manifesto? Do we know who has it?
The police have it.
The police.
And I haven't released it.
I'll show you. I'll take you through the very interesting state of affairs. But just going on to the next one. Her mother obviously is heartbroken over this. I lost my daughter, so she's misgendered.
That's
I
awesome.
have. Sorry.
Yeah, you've
Is
seen
this? Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she, Hale, sent her mother messages just before it happened, saying something very bad was going to happen, and asked for forgiveness, and then went on. And I just think, well, look, man, you know, if you're at the point where you're like, I'm about to do something very bad, it's like, maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you should stop. We've got some more info from the next one, which is Hale was a Nashville-based graphic designer, so she's a local to the community there.
Right.
You know, these are people she did actually know. Apparently, was not disliked in her community, so I've no idea what's happened here. And that's really why we need to see the manifesto, because what's going to be in it is why I'm angry, why I want to lash out so badly.
We would hope that's what's in it.
It's bad.
As opposed to just gobbledygook. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's going to be gobbledygook as well. Right?
Yeah.
'Cause, and there's another thing. Almost every ideological position you can think of has a mass shooter attached to it. Right? Everyone. There was a guy who yelled "free speech or die." So, you know, the libertarian position has one.
Or die.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. But then you've got multiple
sorry.
trans shooters. You've got white nationalist shooters.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Islamists. You know, you've got every one of these positions, which is maybe not all of them are legitimate, but like, you know, have some legitimacy underlining some of them. But every single position, even the most credible one, like Bernie Sanders, has a mass shooter. Like there was this guy who shot a judge in America yelling about healthcare. He was a Bernie Sanders fan. It's like, what are you doing?
Right,
So I put the mass shooting down to the individual who is basically a maniac, right? Something wrong with their mind. They fixate on a cause, and then you know, they take their revenge against society, whatever, right? So it's not any one cause that is uniquely evil when it comes to mass shooters. Now, you may get causes that disproportionately produce them, and that may be like jihadism produces is something to be inquired into. But what I'm trying to establish here is I'm not saying you are bad because you are left wing, or because you are right wing, or because you are transgender, or because you're a white person, or because you're black, or whatever. That's not what this is. I think it's a mental health crisis, right?
Okay.
And I think this is what's happening here.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Do we have any historically? Do mass shootings go back in American society to before the war or?
There have been, but it's really about the number, right? So there are examples of like people who come back from war and who are just
traumatized,
but a lot of those are really suicides. You know, they'll kill themselves. But there are examples, you know, from like the Columbine shooters.
Yes.
Yeah, but again, that's relatively recent. I mean,
it is
I'm
in the
thinking
90s
about before the war. I mean, for instance, whether this is a
Historic.
Yeah.
or where Jordan Peterson is right, and saying that the food we're eating and the pills we're taking are driving some people insane.
Well, I do think that medication is, depression medication in particular, is probably something. But again, this is all speculation on my part. I'm in no way an expert.
Right.
But you are right. It's not, when we say historic, it's not historic. You know, it's been going on for a few decades now, but the numbers are clearly ticking up.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So there's some sort of pressure cooker that's happening that's increasing this.
Yeah.
And again, I really think it's a mental health issue.
Yeah.
But anyway, there was a debate around releasing the manifesto, a national debate in America, and this is interesting because it's difficult to see who's on the other side of it, actually, right? The Nashville police officers are the lead investigators. They're the ones who have access to the manifesto because it was in her possession. And you've got senators in America saying, well, it should be released because, of course, a democratic society. We've got the Christchurch shooters manifesto. There was a black nationalist who went on a killing spree, and we've got his manifesto. We've got, they usually they get leaked to the internet, and you can find them on the internet.
Yes.
And so they say that it seems very perplexing for all of us involved. It seems that certain information is flooded into the marketplace immediately if it fits the narrative, so to speak. If the information does not fit the narrative, it seems to be suppressed. And that's the interesting thing, because this is going to be left-wing doctrine is what's likely to be in this manifesto.
Right.
And why is that an issue? Right? It should be fine for us to read it, just like it's fine for us to read all the rest of them, right? Because again, it's a democracy. We are the voting public. We need to be able to make our own judgments.
Do you think it would still be, held, be prevented from people reading it if Trump was in the White House?
I don't know.
I'm wondering whether this is all part of a Biden-y kind of
It's
wokeist
that's
left wing.
we're guessing, aren't we?
Because
the manifesto might have something completely different in it.
I wouldn't dare to speculate, and you are right, it could be completely different.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I would put good money
Okay.
on knowing.
You might be right.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
know.
I know. We can't know, right?
No.
But I'm pretty sure I know what it's going to say. But the point is, they say people talk about double standards, and if this person was this or that, you get a lot of angry people. I think the police are concerned about that. So you can see that the debate is, well, we've got all of the right-wing manifestos. Why are you hiding the left-wing manifestos?
Okay.
There's also, wasn't there an issue that it was a Christian school?
Yes.
That was also
And that probably comes
thought
up.
to be part of the issue.
That it undoubtedly is,
Yeah,
to be honest.
yeah.
Okay.
But they did anticipate releasing the manifesto shortly afterwards. It was being reviewed for public release.
So does that mean redacted?
I wouldn't even mind if it was redacted in places, to hide personal details or
Sure,
something like
okay.
that. That would be acceptable, I think, to protect people's
Is that
identity.
the girl there that became the bloke?
No, I don't think it is.
isn't.
Actually. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I don't know.
I
I
didn't.
think it is.
I think it is too.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would anybody want to be a bloke? It's very tough.
I know, right?
Being a bloke these days is very tough.
I know.
indeed.
Like nobody says it.
No.
I think it's because they've convinced themselves there's such a thing as male privilege.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like, no, you don't understand.
No.
Male privilege is not what you think it is.
Exactly.
But a Metro Nashville councilwoman, Courtney Johnson, spoke to the media about this. She's not involved in the investigation, but the law enforcement personnel she's spoken to says the manifesto, quote, keeps them up at night.
Oh,
That's interesting, isn't it?
that's not good, is it?
No. 'Cause, I've read a lot of these manifestos, and none of them keep me up at night because it's just the insane ramblings of someone who spent far too much time in their own head.
Yes,
You
yes.
know?
Yeah.
That's a quote. Keep me up at night. Is it?
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
quote, isn't it?
The police officer said, quote, it keeps them up at night.
Oh, that's not
That's
good.
very interesting. So it was given to a judge to see if it should be released.
Okay.
And so if you go to the next one, a Tennessee judge is set to decide whether the full unredacted manifesto of Audrey Elizabeth Hale will be publicly released. The city's lawyers have submitted the manifesto along with a censored version for review. So they've got a copy of it, and the copy is redacted in certain parts. Okay, fine.
Right, okay.
Well, then release the redacted.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Why?
yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
hold up here?
Yeah.
Right. This comes after a slew of lawsuits calling on the city to release the manifesto in its entirety. The motive has not yet been determined, although you have literally got a manifesto. That generally tells you what the motive of the
motive
person
is.
is.
Exactly.
Usually they're bonkers. And of course, the writings are believed to bring insight into why Hale, a former student at this Christian elementary school, committed the atrocity. So yes, isn't it something we deserve to know?
Yeah.
Right. But then combine that with it keeps me up at night. It's like,
I mean, the other way you could go, I'm obviously speculating, but we might find out that there was a abuse at this school,
absolutely,
Possibly.
absolutely,
and that could be
and that should be exposed.
and that could be naming names,
And I was going to ask, the
maybe.
other question I was going to ask was, how long is it since this person left that school?
which is 28.
She's 20. Oh,
Yeah.
she's 28. Oh,
So
okay.
it's been a few years.
It's been a few
So,
years.
yeah,
10 years or
no, and I could totally believe that it could be not ideological at all. It could
No.
be about
It could be,
abuse. It's
yeah,
not
Abuse
abuse.
or-
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
And if it is, it should be
It still
exposed.
should be. I completely
That
agree with
person
you, yeah.
should be going to jail. But yeah, the more information has come to light. Apparently, it was a blueprint on total destruction. This manifesto. It's like, oh my god.
Bloody hell.
Blueprint on total
Yeah,
destruction.
like I said, I can't give you any more details on that because that's literally all we know about it. Right?
Christ, okay.
So pressure begins mounting. The National Police Association and a private investigator in Tennessee have been suing the county officials, demanding copies of the writing. And the judge is expected to make a decision in June, so sometime this month.
Yeah.
But we don't really have any further information, except that the school itself has intervened to stop the manifesto coming out.
Oh,
Oh,
It's very
that
strange, isn't it?
smells, doesn't it?
that's not good, is
Yeah.
it?
So, the school itself has intervened, as in filed a lawsuit against the city seeking to prevent the release of the manifesto. Because the manifesto, they say, may include information owned by the school, such as schematics of the buildings and confidential information about employees, the church argues. Covenant Church is so situated that the disposition of this action may impair or impede its ability to protect its interest and the privacy of its employees. Okay, and that's a
That's a fair point.
point.
Yeah,
But that could be redacted
absolutely.
by the
That's
police.
just what I was thinking.
What? And so if it's not about abuse, which it might not be,
No.
That's true.
You know,
Just a
okay,
guess.
That's we don't need to know the schematics of the school. We don't need to know the names of the employees.
No.
That could all be redacted.
Yeah.
Why would they want to stop it coming out, though? We know a redacted version exists.
Yeah.
So why doesn't it specify?
No, exactly.
Why are they taking this action? This is very, very strange.
It's very suspicious the school doesn't want it released.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's this harboured grudge appears to be against the
Yeah.
school. Like, I think you're onto something. I think there's some sort of abuse that's been going on here.
Yeah.
But again, who can know?
No,
No,
exactly.
exactly.
Who can know?
And why would they? I mean, that thing they're saying about privacy to employees, I'm sure just a cursory glance at social media, you could find out who works there.
I bet you could look at their website.
Yeah.
Get the names of all the
Well,
people.
exactly.
Exactly.
I mean, it sounds a
So
bit.
that's a weird.
It is a weird position.
Yeah.
It is.
And also, people who want to keep it, when they say it keeps me up at night, they would say that if they want to keep it quiet. They want to make it sound horrifying.
Yeah.
They want to make it. They want to justify their position in some way.
I suppose so.
I mean, what if it's a child trafficking ring
child
that's going in there?
trafficking. Yeah.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
it keeps me up at night. Well, yeah, because I mean, that would keep
That
you
would,
up at night.
It
absolutely.
would, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to say.
It is.
Yeah, but then if that was the case, why would she shoot children in the school?
Well, I think
3
you're
children.
right. I think you're right to say that it's a lot of this smacks of a mental.
Yeah, I think
mental
so.
condition.
Yeah.
And I thought, and it sounds a bit ridiculous, and sometimes it's like I say, it's a small stuff that gives the game away. That person was wearing combat trousers in a school. It's almost like I'm playing the part. I'm operating in a way that I've seen other people operate.
Yeah.
Because she had prepared for this.
Yes.
She'd spent a lot of
Yes.
time preparing for
Same
this
with
attack.
Columbine, actually. wasn't
Yeah.
it? Right? Yes,
Yeah.
They think we're going into combat, don't they?
Yeah, they think they're going into combat.
Shooting
It's
unarmed people.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's mad.
Children.
Yeah, it's madness.
It's mental. Yeah.
But anyway, the last thing on this is that the police chief did specify that this was, quote, a targeted attack. And reporters asking the police chief, and the report just says, was this a targeted attack? And he says, it was. So they chose this place, they chose these people for a reason.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Like I said, we can't know anything about it until we get access to the manifesto. And I think that people deserve to know.
Yeah, we don't know. Obviously, that the school might have been targeted, or obviously was targeted, but we don't know whether the children were.
Yes.
Specifically, they might have just been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Absolutely. And again, there's something very fishy about this amount of legislation, and I mean, I'm surprised someone hasn't just leaked it.
But yeah,
Yes,
you
but
think
by
so,
now.
wouldn't you?
Yeah,
In this
absolutely.
world we live in, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is something that happens all the time. But for some reason, with this, we're still like a month past it, and
Yes.
we still don't know.
Yeah.
And it's very, very strange. So I thought I'd give people an update on that.
Hope you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters. And if you want to support our work, you need to go on down to our website where you can sign up and watch videos such as this one, which is Epochs, our history series. This one's about the Wall Street crash. And also, if you want to check out what Bo, whose series this is up to on Twitter, make sure to check him out at HistoryBro1.